Why, when you do it yourself with DCF, you can really hurt yourself in Massachusetts? Because there's so many policy, procedures, and protocol when it comes to DCF. There's time standards. You must file certain things or do certain things by. And if you're a layperson, as a recent client of mine was, you can really hurt yourself. This guy's name was Bob, not his real name. Very intelligent man. Does everything. Can fix up everything in the house. I'm talking everything. He mows his own lawn, cuts his own shrubs. Not a big deal, right? I agree. But going inside the house, forget about it. He put up brand new cabinets in his kitchen. He did everything. He could do his gutters, paint his house. There's nothing this guy couldn't do. He was of the do-it-yourself mode. That when it came to a legal case, well, if I can do this and this and this and this, I certainly can do my DCF case. Wrong. And what he did was he did it, but he didn't do it right. And he was relegated to purgatory on the couch by his wife. And it got worse from there. Because when they did the investigation, he met with DCF. And he, acted like Mr. Wonderful. And Mr. Wonderful had what I call diarrhea of the mouth. And he didn't need an attorney, he needed some toilet paper to stuff in his mouth so he'd stop talking. But he never stopped talking. He tried to sell the story about how wonderful he is, how wonderful his wife is, how wonderful his kids are, how wonderful his house is, how wonderful his car is, how wonderful his backyard, front yard, backyard, side yard, this yard, yeah. He never stopped talking. And he talked himself right into a supported 51A report by the DCF investigator. Then, to add insult to injury, DCF starts doing an assessment, and he fails to appeal to the fair hearing his supported report for neglect. Big mistake. You got 30 days to appeal it. So when Bob comes in to see me, and he says, Kevin, I screwed up the investigation, and I screwed up the assessment, and they came in and they gave me something called an action plan. And now they want me to do this, and this. And I should have come and seen you right from the get-go. And I should have paid the money, and I shoulda. He was shoulding all over himself. But that's what happens sometimes, because in the final analysis, when we sat down and we talked, I said, why didn't you? And he just looked at me and says, I don't know how to give up control, Kevin. I don't know how to do that. And he readily admitted it. And I give him a lot of credit because he took 100% responsibility screwing up his own family's case. But more importantly, DCF now was telling him that they were going to do a legal consult. He came in to see me. He says, Kevin, what does that mean? And I told him, I said, that means they're considering taking your kids out of your home. And they're considering filing what's called a care and protection. And they come in at any time and take your kids. And he was silent. Mr. Wonderful, who had diarrhea of the mouth, was lost for words. And so when I explained to him that he missed filing for the appeal and he's time barred now from filing the appeal, he says, it's bad enough I'm on the couch now sleeping. Next thing I know, I'll be outside the house sleeping. I said, I heard they got a nice sale on tents right about now. And he didn't get the humor. I didn't expect him to. But what I told him was you can't do certain things on your own. You would never consider going to the hospital and operating on yourself, would you? And he says, no. I said, why do you consider being a lawyer? And then I knew the answer I was going to hear, but it looks so easy on TV, he said to me. I said, it always looks easy on TV. But that's not reality. This is reality. This is your wife. These are your children. DCF is the power, the ability, and the authority to take your kids out of your house. And here, 6 months down the road, DCF is still in his life with an action plan telling him, you got to do this, you got to do that, and they're doing a legal consult. And finally, he came to the conclusion that I wish I had given up control, just let you handle it, Kevin. And I told him it's not too late. So he became a client. We got DCF in his life, out of his life. Case closed quickly without him losing his kids. And he was forever grateful. But don't you be a do-it-yourselfer like Bob was. If you don't know what you don't know, admit it. Get over the self-ego, self-esteem, self-worth. Admit it. You don't know what you're doing. Give it up or be ready to get screwed. Now you, as the parent, have the affirmative duty to protect your children. The Constitution says we the people, which means not we the adults, it means everybody, including our children. Our children have United States constitutionally protected rights, and you as a parent have violated them. And just one last thing. When DCF first comes into your life, they're going to give you what's called a parents pamphlet. In that parents pamphlet, it'll say in the top right-hand corner of the parents pamphlet, you have the right to counsel, which means lawyer or attorney, at any time. DCF's telling you, get a lawyer. Don't be a do-it-yourselfer. Do not do it alone. Close your eyes and think about what would it be if you were to lose your child for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. That's all possible. Now I want you to close your eyes again. Think to yourself, what would it be like to lose your children, for them to be outside your love and home and nurturing? So you have to not only consider yourself and your own feelings, you're going to think about what's this going to do to your children. To be placed in a foster care situation with a foster care system, and if you have more than one children, more than likely they'll be separated, and being raised by a foster parent, a complete, absolute stranger to your kids. And for you to pause, to hesitate, to tap the brakes, and not hire a lawyer because you're too cheap, like a bird, shame on you. Shame on you. And it's easy for me to say, it might sound a bit callous, but you can always earn more money. You cannot get your children back sometimes. Don't ever endanger your children with going into foster care. Foster care is proven to be more dangerous. More children have been injured in foster care than you can shake a stick at. And that doesn't mean there's not some great foster parents out there, but it's not a place your child or anybody's child should be if you have a say in it. If you have the ability, and my original client, Mr. Wonderful Bob, do it yourself, but he did it himself all right. He did it so bad that it cost him a lot of time, money, and effort. Then, when he was looking to retain me, if the children had been taken, he would have spent a hell of a lot more money than it would have cost from the very get-go to have gotten rid of DCF. Out of his life, case closed, children not taken, and placed in foster care. And he dodged a bullet. Will you dodge a bullet? That remains to be seen, but I wouldn't take that chance. If there's any chance your children going into foster care, you do whatever it takes to prevent that.